Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get started with the press portion of this event today. So we're going to have every one of the dignitaries have some comments here today, and then if we have time permitting, we're going to open up for questions with the press. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lourenco Goncalves, Chairman, President, and CEO of Cleveland Cliffs.
Thanks, Pat. And, good afternoon, everybody. What a pleasure being here at Weirton with my team here at this great plant. But before we go down to business, I have to acknowledge the passing of a great friend, great business partner, a person that I will miss dearly. Yesterday, International USW President Tom Conway passed away peacefully at his home, surrounded by his family, not in pain, after a long battle against a horrible disease. But through the very end, 48 hours before his passing, we were on the phone and went through our emotions, our conversation. Hi, buddy, how are you? How are you? How are you doing, Tom? I'm okay. He's always okay. He never said a bad thing through the end. His concern was about how's our acquisition of West Steel is going, how we're going to do next, how the future of the American worker will be taken care, and our partnership centers around manufacturing, middle class, the working class, the American way of life. And that's what we are going to continue to fight. Continuity will happen because my partnership with the workers and with the USW goes beyond personal connections. But I will miss my friend Tom. I will miss my friend Tom. So with that said, what we saw here today was fantastic. It's what energizes me to see that all the effort and all the money that we are investing here is paying off. And you, gentlemen and ladies of Weirton, are proof that if you invest in the American worker and if you invest in the capabilities of these great plants that were put here several years ago, and it's our job to maintain them and keep them for this generation, the next, and the next, we are going to really, really be very successful as a country for decades, for centuries to come. So that's what you're doing, and that's what you're going to continue to do. Having the presence with me here and with my friend Mark Glyptis, that has been a phenomenal partner on the ground here. Without Mark, I would not be here today. We would not be successful today. But having Senator Sherrod Brown and Senator Joe Manchin here with us today is really, really meaningful for all of us. They get it. They understand. They know what's going on. It's not just the enemies. The enemies are very easy to identify. China, North Korea, and others, Iran. These are easy to identify. Russia, these are very easy to identify. We have threats that come from close to home, from Mexico, from South Korea, from Japan, from dumping, from aggression that is soft aggression, aggression that is steal jobs, aggression that takes away our American way of living. And that's not something that we will support. So these two very powerful senators in Washington, D.C. carried our message, carry our mission. And they are there representing us. Keep this in mind, because we will not be able to be successful if we don't have support from the likes of Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Sherrod Brown. So with that, I will invite my friend Mark Glyptis to say a few words.
Well, good afternoon. I want to thank Lourenco with the bottom of my heart. When I first met Lourenco, one of the first things he talked about was partnership, and that we have to develop a partnership, and takes both sides to do that, both union and management, labor and management, to develop a strong partnership we've been able to do that. And Lourenco has been, in my 50 years plus of service, I've been the president for over 30, that I have never seen a Steel executive as sincere as Lourenco. He cares about you. He cares about the people with the bottom of his heart. When we speak, and we speak very often, he asks about the laid-off guys, the laid-off people. He wants to know how they're doing. And we talk about success, how we're going to be successful. And that has not always been the case. So I have the deepest respect for Lourenco, and I consider ourselves, I consider Lourenco as being God sent. God sent him here because we needed help. Okay, he came here and he's provided the leadership and the sincerity to be successful, and that only so many people have the insight to be able to do that, and the sincerity to do it. So on behalf of our employees, I want to thank you for what you've done for not only the entire company, but Weirton specifically in the community as well. Many of us are third, fourth, fifth generation steelworkers, and we grew up in this town. The town grew around the steel mill, and my grandfather lived with us. Lived right on Pennsylvania Avenue, just a few miles from here, and I can remember clearly at the supper table, my dad always said, "We're going to always eat together in the evening. You know, no matter what you're doing, be at home at a certain time." And what we talked about was how the mill ran that particular day. We grew up talking about this mill. It's the lifeline of this entire area. And at one point in time, we had almost 13,000 employees working here. And for no fault of their own, things have changed significantly. But for the first time as well in a long time, we have some real opportunity to not only to succeed, but to also grow. When you have Lourenco and his team leading, the management, the union, being partners, and that's a big, big word. You know, we could talk about anything, and you as employees know that you could pick the phone up and talk to the top person in the entire company. When has that ever happened? It hasn't happened since I've been an employee and been part of the union. So he's got a unique style of running a company, and I think the employees could sense that, and they look forward to coming to work. I mean, we haven't had that in decades, where people actually call up at the union and say can't wait to go to work. I mean, that's a great situation for us. Having said that, we haven't done anything wrong as employees. No one's done anything wrong out there in this plant. The government needs to enforce an illegal activity. Dumping of steel into the American markets is an illegal activity. Okay, and they have to enforce the law. We can't give foreign countries a 99-yard head start and expect to win that race if you're running a 100-yard dash. Okay, and the government, if they just enforce the existing laws, this type of thing wouldn't be happening. We have the best steel workers in the world, undoubtedly. I mean, you are the best, I believe, anywhere in the entire world, and you put 100% effort out. Okay, and a lot of plants can't say that. A lot of that is due to Lourenco, because they respect him and they want to produce for him. And for all of us to be successful, a couple of things have to happen. The government needs to enforce our trade laws, and I believe they will. We have our legislators, we have two senators here. They've both been for the working man and working families for a long, long time. And I'm proud to know each one of them, Senator Manchin and Senator Brown. That has been, it's been a pleasure. So when we have them on our side, Lourenco, the people, the community, the state, I think the right thing's going to happen. The right thing is that the government, ITC, enforces the trade laws of our country and gives us a fair opportunity to compete. Thank you. You as workers, I can't remember the last time, I could talk here for hours, but I'm limited. I can't remember the last time someone came up to me and said, it's not my job. People go out and do what has to be done. And I'm proud of that, and I'm proud to be able to represent you, and I'm proud of, Lourenco, you make me feel so proud, and we're going to be successful. We had a saying a while back that we can do it, and the word can was when we make cans. Not only can we do, we will do it, and we will be successful, and we're going to be the best in the world. So thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Senator Brown. I just want to say a couple of things about him. He's been with us, the working man, for decades. He's for the working person, and he's very sincere, and he does great work for all of us. Thank you.
From way back when, opposing North American free trade agreement since. So thank you. Good to see all of you. Senator Manchin, nice to see you again, Joe, and Mark and Lourenco, and people I got to talk to, Kim and Taylor, and so many of you. I walked up to people that out of earshot of the CEO and said, what's this place like, different from when it was Weirton Steel, different when it was ArcelorMittal, and night and day. And when I heard you explain that, you weren't trying to impress the CEO, you were just telling me the facts. I was in this plant probably 35 years ago when it was Weirton Steel, and I've been in a lot of steel plants around, and what I've seen with Cleveland-Cliffs at this plant, about worker safety, about production, about fighting against bad trade agreements. Joe and I regularly go to the Commerce Department, go to the International Trade Commission, often after talking to Tom Conway, rest his soul, or Lourenco, or Mark, or a number of union activists here. What do you need? We go there and we try to get these trade rules enforced. 25 years ago, I was at a Workers' Memorial Day in Lorain, Ohio, on the banks of Lake Erie, west of Cleveland. And a steelworker gave me this pin. It's a depiction of a canary in a bird cage. The mine workers, you know the story, took the canary down in the mines. The mine workers had no union strong enough in those days, had no government that cared enough to protect them. And I wear this. When we come to the Senate, they give you this fancy pen that says, I'm a senator. Well, I took mine off after a couple of days and put this pen back on, because it's all about thinking about workers and thinking about American jobs. And that's Joe's and my job, working with you to make sure that we're fighting bad trade agreements, that we're enforcing trade laws. As Mark said, the laws are there. We just have to make sure we enforce them. Makes all the difference in the world. Count on me, count on Senator Manchin to keep doing whatever you need to do to make make steel, to make cars, whether electric cars or combustion engine cars, to make them in the United States with American workers. That's my job. That's my mission, to make sure that happens. And my opportunity to bring my friend Joe Manchin forward. Thanks.
You can tell we got a plane to catch, but no one ever talks that quick in Washington. Let me just say one thing about Sherrod. I want to say this. He is the leader of the working person in America. If there's anything that's going on in any plant in America, he's the first to come forward. Says, we got to do this, we got to do that. So when it comes to dignity at work, he's our leader. And I feel that very strong. To Lourenco, let me just say this to Lourenco. I've been to a lot of factories and plants in my life and this and that, and I can always tell if I'm in a place where I'm getting BS'd or a place where I know things are being done right. And what I can see, I came here in the 70s when there was 13,000 people working. I come from a coal mining town called Farmington. 3 of the largest coal mines in the country were right, I could walk to them. 600 people in my town, but people everywhere is working. I had never seen a town with one plant with 13,000 people working, and the vibrance, the robust that it was here, it was unbelievable. And then to see what happened. So when you have someone that comes back that wants to invest, that wants to grow, and for us to come and see what's happening, I guarantee you, you've got us. You got more than just me and Sherrod. I'll guarantee you that. We talk about Tom Conway and our prayers and thoughts. I hope that all of you take time just to think of what a person that fought for you every day, and he really did. And he was a person who knew how to work and negotiate with both businesses. This company, Lourenco, would not be successful. He started where you are. He would not be successful if it wasn't for you. So no matter what anyone tells you, I have never seen a successful company that could sustain their success and growth unless the people were happy, unless the people liked working for them, unless you were getting paid a fair wage, that you had benefits, you could live a quality of life and take care of your family and have the benefits that you needed. That tells us a success. And the other thing that I care about, because I've been through more mine accidents, and I had to go talk to grieving families that lost their loved ones in mine accidents, my main concern is when you go to work, you're expected to come home at night. After you do your shift, you're expected to come home safe. And when you know that you're able to make sure that the safety conditions in your working place is as much up to you as it is the management, then you're at the right place. If you believe you're afraid to say something because you might get fired, you're in the wrong place. Your life is worth more than a paycheck at a place that doesn't respect who you are. When you have that, fight for it. We're going to grow this place. He is intended to grow this place. Steel is the backbone of America. This country, we failed because we thought we were doing the right thing 30, 40 years ago. It didn't work out. Trying to help the rest of the world. Not only to help the rest of the world, they took over the jobs that we needed. And the backbone, building steel. If you don't have steel, you don't have a country. If you don't have energy security, you don't have a country. If you can't do the things that you need to do and you use every day, you're not going to maintain super status. Superpower status is going to be maintained by the work that we do and basically not being dependent on unreliable foreign supply chains. That's what you do. You should be proud every day that you're producing the energy that America and basically the products that we have to have. That's all. And I can tell you this, my heart goes out to all of those who have worked so hard and we had to fight so hard. ArcelorMittal came in here. They wouldn't pay their workers' comp. They wouldn't pay their unemployment benefits. I was governor at the time, had to fight them every day. Eddie, where's Eddie? Eddie Bowman's here. He did the same thing. We fought every day to make sure they were held accountable. And they kept it. We started with 4,000 employees when they came. They're down to nothing. Diverse themselves. And Mark Glyptis, this Mark Glyptis right here, he and I were on the phone about every day for I don't know how many months, just trying to get them people to basically conform what they were supposed to. They finally left. Thank God for us. Thank God for Lourenco who come in. With Cleveland Cliffs, I can tell you, I don't know where I've ever seen a fresh coat of paint in Weirton. Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen any factory or anything. Just doing that shows that you care and you got pride. I'm proud of you. I know that Sherrod is, and we're behind you. We're behind you is all I can tell you. God bless the USA. We're still the best country in the world, and it's because of you all.